I'm live. Don't know how long it's going to take for somebody to show up, but I'm live. We're going to be making chicken gnocchi soup. It's a copycat recipe that I made up a long time ago from the Olive Garden. It's a little bit better than the Olive Garden. So if you want exactly the Olive Garden, I'll give you some tips and tricks. So this is going to be mostly cooking that, but we made some sourdough yesterday actually. Last evening, I guess. And we're going to take this and we're going to bake it today. So the first step of baking this delicious bread is to take your wonderful ruler, and I'm going to actually pin it. If I can figure out live events. Home. Hold on, live is happening, open live event. Okay, here we go. I am going to pin this because this is a great value for a Dutch oven. So the first step of baking this sourdough, this is a more traditional sourdough. We're going to put this in the oven and we're going to turn it on. And so the recipe says to go to 450, to go to 500. However, I am not doing 500 because and I'm setting it for 30 minutes. You want to put your Dutch oven in there for 30 minutes. I'm not doing it at 500 because this parchment that I have is rated to 450. So I will not put it on at 500. So if you are using parchment, which most of the time you're going to use parchment, you're going to want to check what it's rated for. Some of them are rated for even less than 450, 350 or 400. So check your parchment. I get this on Amazon. I haven't found parchment yet on TikTok Shop. I haven't really looked because I've got a lot. I buy it by like the 100. So that's what we're going to do. So what we're doing now is we're going to get the flour and we're going to, and if anybody's here and has questions, please let me know. But we are going to be making the soup in a few minutes, but I wanted to get the bread in the oven. Or get it ready to go in the oven, and we're going to kind of do a little bit of multiple things at once. So this is how I usually do things. I go a little crazy and I don't do things. Now, when flouring your board, I found that doing it this way makes it a lot easier for me. So that's what I do. I'm just going to stick this aside for now. Putting it over there, and we should have a bowl of water. So when you're working with sourdough bread, the dough is very sticky, and there's two methods. You can put flour on it or you can put water on your hands. And for sourdough, putting water on your hands works great. So this, I let it rise. I did 3 sets of stretch and folds, and then I let it rise, and so until it was a little less than double, because it continues to rise in the refrigerator. So hold on. I got a new gimbal thing that kind of spins around as it follows and tracks my face. But if I put the face away, it goes bad. So it's pulling away from the bowl like that, and that means it's good. So we're going to form it. You can see the little bubbles. I don't know if you guys can see that. Push this back a little bit. Maybe you can see more. There we go. That's a little bit better. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to shape it. So I'm putting it in, and so notice my hands are actually okay. As soon as my hands stop being okay, I'll dip them in water again. I don't want to pull it too hard. I just ripped a little bit. I don't really want to do that. So once I get it out like this, I just start folding it over, and folding it. Now, everybody has different methods for doing this, and this is one that I find is working well for me, and kind of push and pull. And this is what other people say to do. Now, I'm not that great at it, so we'll see. So now what I'm going to do is, this is going to just sit and wait until the oven is ready. I'm going to just cover it. I'm going to just use this plastic lid for now. I'm going to cover it and be done with it. I'm going to rinse my hands off. It's just flour, so we are good. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to make the soup. And I didn't prep anything, so you're going to just bear with me as you see my lack of knife skills or my knife skills, whichever way you want to look at it. So we're going to start with that. So This recipe is on my website, dish-ditty.com, and with 2 T's, not 2 D's, D-I-T-T-Y. And it is, this is the recipe here, one I created a while ago, and we kept going to Olive Garden, and I just wanted to have soup. I don't want anything else. So I just printed it up because it's been a while since I've made it. And it's actually very, very simple to make, but it doesn't look so here, but it is pretty simple. So I'm just going to start chopping up vegetables and getting that portion of it done first. And I, in general, will not worry about measurements, so don't worry if you want to add more onion or less onion, you want more celery, you can. These are just guidelines that I have. One of the things I'm also going to do is make some chicken soup from scraps. So I don't know if anybody of you do this, but I take my onion peels and my onion bits and the tops and bottoms of my celery, my carrots. I'm using the baby carrots. I'm not going to have any waste there. But if you use regular carrots, wash them off really good, shred them. Clean them, and then store the tops and bottoms. Just make sure you don't have any dirt. That's all. So I'm going to just cut up one onion, and I think the recipe says a cup, and I'm just making little small slices. Again, I am no pro. I have never been a pro. I never will be a pro. I am a home cook, and I enjoy being a home cook. So if I do things slightly imperfectly, just know that my mom would have done this with a little tiny knife over the stove, and so I'm doing way better than that. So I feel proud that I don't use it with a little tiny knife. Although there are times when I revert to it and I think of my mother. Anyway, so this soup is really hearty, really tasty. It uses a lot of basic ingredients that you're going to have in your pantry. And I use the rotisserie chicken. I'm going to use rotisserie chicken for it as the chicken. So just Costco. The $4.99 chicken, can't beat that. And so this is one of the recipes that I use to get that chicken up. So let me see if there's any. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I like making copycat recipes. I don't know if you like copycat recipes, but I really do. I enjoy trying to recreate things. One of my favorite recreations was from a restaurant that we used to have out here in Redwood City, and it was called The Farmhouse. Oh my God, they had the most amazing minestrone soup. So the houses, that place was like a steakhouse, but we didn't go there for the steak. We went there for the soup. It was so nice. And so they wound up closing, and I found a recipe online that said it was The Farmhouse, and it wasn't really. So I'm gonna circle around. You guys can see please ignore my messy, that's all junk over there that I need to take care of. So I'm testing out this new device, and it'll follow me as I go. And I just want to make sure I get the celery well cleaned, because celery has a lot of dirt in it. Anyways, the restaurant was called The Farmhouse, and it's a steakhouse, but that's minestrone. It came out in these pots that were like cast iron pots, and they were hot, and they would bring out the whole thing with a little ladle, and you would just eat the soup, and by the time you're done with the soup and their amazing bread, it was just, you were full. So we wound up that being one of our favorites. Again, taking the scraps, putting it aside. Those are going to go in with the soup I'm making later, with all the scraps. Essentially the bone scraps from the chicken, rotisserie chicken, and everything. So I'm just going to try to make this somewhat uniform. And we're doing celery and carrots. And we'll also have some spinach in here. And again, this is the copycat recipe, so I tried to make it close. I do like my version a little bit better, but you can, you'll find that it's a little bit more of a chicken flavor, so you can tone down on the, I use Better Than Bouillon, and that makes a nice rich chicken flavor, but you can always, instead of using that, use the just chicken broth instead of the water and better than bouillon, which will be fine, but it just won't have that super strong and strong taste of the chicken, which I really enjoy. So if you have any questions, please let me know. But anyways, go back to the farmhouse soup. So the minestrone soup I took somebody's recipe that they claimed was the soup and it wasn't, but I modified it and figured out a way to make it. But it's so time intensive that I keep telling myself I'm going to make it again, but make it as a faster soup. So that's on my agenda to do. And maybe I'll go live when I try to figure it out how to do that. Some of it's going to be just making, using canned beans instead of cutting up the beans, cooking the beans and soaking them yourself. So that's probably one way to do it. And then the meat, there's ways that can be a little bit faster, maybe in a pressure cooker or something. So anyway, so if anybody's here, we're making chicken, Olive Garden copycat chicken gnocchi soup. And we're also baking some of the sourdough that we made in the live yesterday. And I'm just cutting up the vegetables. And I decided instead of having it all prepped, I'm going to do it on the live. And hopefully you guys like that. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any copycat recipes that you're curious about, like some ones that you like or that you want to find, I don't know. I have a couple copycat recipes on my site. I enjoy making up recipes, and I enjoy trying to recreate and figure out what recipes are. So I'm going to do quite a bit of carrots. It wouldn't be that many if they were big, but these are tiny little babies. I didn't feel like going to the store and getting a different kind of carrot. So in theory, they should probably be more like this, but I like it diced so everything's the same shape and size. That's just my preference. So there we're going to just keep making some carrots. So anybody, I have a flash goal, start a flash goal. I don't know what that is. Flash goal, 3 gifters, send rose to you in 5th. So I'm trying to figure out what these goals are. Achieve the goal when 3 gifters send rose to your live. So if anybody sends me a live, I get a goal. I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. So if you give me a rose, we'll find out in 3 minutes, and 3 gifts if you do send them. But don't worry, I don't care if you don't send them. I'm doing this for me, not for the cash. Because honestly, I'm not going to ever make that much money on this. This is just for fun. Well, and also because I enjoy writing the recipes, and my main website is where I get most of my joy from. But now videos are all it, so flat recipes don't really do much for people. So I'm trying to learn how to do the videos, and you guys are my guinea pigs. I figure live is a good way to start, and I can figure out good ways to make it happen. So, unlock diamond rewards. I don't know what that means. See, I gotta get all these little things on the screen. I don't know what they mean, but I know one of them is I'm supposed to try and get 3 roses in 15 minutes. So whatever that means. I think it means you guys have to spend money, so don't spend money if you don't have it. Because this is more of just a fun thing. So I'm almost done. I think this is enough. This is what I have right now. I'm going to put a couple this amount of carrots in, and then we're going to be ready. And then we're going to prep the chicken. And the chicken is just going to be the rotisserie chicken. So I'm just going to be pulling it apart and cutting up some of the chicken, getting it ready to throw into the soup. And I'm using Dollar Tree gnocchi. Honestly, works really well. It's surprisingly very close to the expensive gnocchi you get in the stores, in the grocery stores. See, like these? I don't know if you see that. They have like the little ends. I don't like that in my soup, so I'm putting that in my little my little scraps bowl. So I use the one from the Dollar Tree. Honestly, I know it's probably not the most high quality, but when you're putting it in a soup, honestly, it doesn't matter. I think if it was like a gnocchi dish that was more, you needed it to be a little more delicate, it probably wouldn't be as good. Oh, and I just put my carrots in my onions. Oh well, pull them out. I put them in the wrong bowl. Getting distracted. I won't get them all out, but I'll get most. All right, so I think I have enough carrots. And then we're gonna get the chicken ready, and then we just start building the soup. And soup for me is a layering process. It's some people have trouble with soups, and they have trouble when they're whenever they just think that they throw it all in and just go. And in some cases, if you're doing a classic broth, that can be okay. But most soups kind of need depth, and you kind of need to build it to get, build it through. So anyway, so there's that, and then let's just see. Yep, chicken. Next one is the chicken. Get a bowl, and hey, I like this little thing. At least I'm not. I used to always, when I'm on my lives, I'll be moving around, and you'll just see me go off screen and talking. I like this. You hear these little clickety clacks of the nails? That's my dogs. I've got 2 of them. Get out. Out. Out all the way. He's not in the kitchen. Out. He knows I'm distracted, so he's gonna go. Okay, so for this recipe, I'm gonna not do the thighs. I'm not gonna do the dark meat. I'm gonna do the white meat, mostly because my husband really likes the dark meat, and so he'll eat that separately. And whereas the white meat he doesn't like as much, so I'm going to put all the scraps and all of the juice in the back in the bag. So when I make the soup, it's all ready to go. And I usually just take the wings and put that in the soup, and I put the skin in the soup, whatever my husband hasn't eaten. And there we go. There we go. So there is meat on here, and I can pull it off, but I'm being lazy. And the scraps from the soup become part of the dog food that we make. So it's kind of like a multi-layered process. All right, we got some, get this off of here. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna start pulling some of the meat off. I'm gonna put the meat in this bowl. That's mostly scraps. Okay. And here we go. All right, so this is gonna be the back. I need to essentially take this all apart. Actually, I'm gonna just stick all the chicken in here, and I'll pull out what I want later. So my dog knows I have chicken, and he's like patiently waiting just at the threshold of the kitchen right now. What a silly dog. What a silly, silly dog. He knows better. But he also knows that I'm a swab, and I drop stuff all the time. So if anybody's just joining us, we are making chicken gnocchi soup, a copycat recipe that I made up from Olive Garden. It's pretty close, but it is, in my opinion, a little bit more tasty. Because I like my recipes better. Snoopy, get out! Get out! Out! Go! Out! You hear that? Those little clickety clack of the nails. He's gotta go. Okay. So I'm just getting all this chicken together, and then I'm gonna have to wash my hands because ew, gross, right? All right. Let's get all this off of here, and then we'll use this chicken. I'll dice up some, and we'll use it for the soup. And like I said, all of these bones, and if you see, I'm not really cleaning it terribly well. I can clean it better, but I don't mind too much, because in the end, all that chicken that gets left behind, it will go into our dog food that we make from the soup, all the soup kind of stuff. We take the onions out because those you can't have for the dogs, but the carrots and the celery and the chicken parts, especially like the gristle and things, we mix it in with some rice and some other vegetables and pumpkin and things like that, and then make some dog food out of it. It's not their exclusive dog food, it's kind of like their topper. So that way they can have kind of something fresh. I know I like something fresh. Right. So this chicken gnocchi soup is the hardest part, is getting this done. Usually I do this the day I get the chicken, and I had so much going on that day, yesterday, I just didn't have the time. So we're just gonna do it like this. Okay. And yeah, I already ate some of the breast meat, or I should say, made something with the breast meat, and so that's why one half the breast is mostly gone. And there we go. There's still like a lot on here. The dogs will it'll cook off, and the dogs will wind up getting it, and they will love it. They will love it. He's ready and waiting. All right. This is the Costco rotisserie chicken. I know some people do Sam's Club. We don't have Sam's Club out here. I don't know if they do the same thing and have like a cheap rotisserie chicken. Gosh, the ones at Safeway, they are like now not even a pound, and they're like $9. They're so tiny. It's more like a Cornish game hen. I can't believe how expensive they've gotten. But the Costco is their way to go right now, because they're still planning on not raising that chicken price. That's their lost leader. So I say keep it up, because I like it. Okay, there it goes. All right, so I'm gonna move this stuff in, and for now I'm gonna use my dirty hands because I'm gonna have to wash them in a second. I don't want to wash them twice. And the stuff has all been touched by me. So I'm just going to chop up. This is the breast, so I'm just chopping up one breast mostly, and a little bit of second. This is like a little bit of the second one. So it's not even, probably, maybe I'd consider it half the chicken. No, yeah, probably maybe half. Let me look at the volume. And you don't have to. You can cut it however you like. I am just doing a rough cut so that way pieces are small enough to eat. I felt a bone in here. Yep, there's a bone. Pieces are small enough to eat, and you don't have to go on your fork. You don't have to do anything weird. Okay, so the chicken is cooked. I'm going to stick this aside for now, and we're going to go wash the hands again. I wish my kitchen was not designed this way, but I'm not ready to spend the money to redesign it. I would not have designed it this way, but when we bought the house, it is what it is. All right, so let's go back over here. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is start the soup. And the soup is actually pretty easy, and I'm gonna move this over, and I think I'm going to turn off this gimbal now because I want you guys to be able to see it. And I apologize for that. I'm gonna go off. Okay, so this guy's off, and we're going to put it in. I'm going to put it on one of these on here, so you can actually see it. So so you can see what I'm cooking. I'm going to have it going on the cooking versus me, because that's to me more interesting than what I'm doing, than what my face looks like. All right, let's see if I can get this shot without it being a problem. Okay, let's get a little bit closer. All right, so we are going to use this. Okay, hopefully that's visually enough. Let me see, I'm looking around. It's pretty close. Let me see. Okay, I think it's pretty good. I want to get it a little higher and up. Get a little higher and then go down. Higher, and then we're going to scooch it down. There, I think that's a little bit better. Okay, all right. So since I have not made this soup for a while, we're going to actually read the recipe. And then this way, as I go, you'll also know what I'm doing. So the first step is I'm going to heat up the pot. Now this, I am using all clad, so I need to heat the pot up first before adding any oil. This is just a standard way of doing it with the all clads. And let's see what the time is. We are at, hold on. Oh, is there a timer? I thought I set a timer. 30 minutes? Oh yeah, I have 7 minutes left on the timer for the bread. So we'll get this started, and then we'll pause it when the bread's ready for it to go in the oven. Okay, so as I'm going to show you guys, when you're dealing with the stainless steel or the hex clad or anything that is is, you know, doesn't have a Teflon coating, you don't want to use it too early. So you can see it's just kind of sizzling. When the pot is hot enough, it'll bead, and so we're kind of just going to wait for this to go. So this is, what we're going to first do is we have some onions and some olive oil. So once it's hot enough, I'm going to put the olive oil in, and then we're going to saute the onions for about a minute or two. And then once the onions are done, or once they're about a minute or two in, we're going to add the rest of the carrots and the celery. And then after that, and the carrots I did 1 medium onion, and I did 2 celery sticks, and I did a pretty healthy portion of the carrots. And so we're going to saute those for a little bit. And then once you saute them and they're soft, you don't need them to be fully cooked, but you want them to start developing the flavors. And then we're going to add the better than bouillon and the hot water. So I'm going to actually boil the water. So I already measured out the 4 cups of water. And I put it in a Pyrex. I'm going to put it in the microwave to boil. All right. Okay, so that's going to get set up to boil, so by the time we're ready to use it, we are good to go. So I don't know if you can see this. We'll do this again. It's kind of sizzling still on the sides. So I kind of want it to be beating, but some of it was beating. So we're going to wait just, it's very close, almost ready. Should be really, really close. Okay, so it's beating. Yep, we're good. Okay. So it's beating, so I'm going to add the olive oil. And I'm not going to be measuring. So you can use the measurements that I have, because I actually did measure it, but I rarely will cook with measurements. So just know that. I cook with the way I feel, put that in that jar. So you're going to hear the sizzle. I don't have my microphone, I can't find it, and I have a new one on order that is supposed to be here, but is not here yet, so I apologize for the sound. And we're going to just let this cook for a minute. Again, we're making chicken gnocchi soup, copycat Olive Garden. And so all we're doing is kind of just getting these onions softened and just to start releasing the flavors, because we want to have the soup slowly build. Throwing everything in all at once, especially the onions and the vegetables, you're going to wind up with kind of a flat soup. It's not going to be bad, but the flavors wouldn't have developed. And so this is a great way to get the onions to kind of come out of their shell. So, all right. So that is pretty close. All right. Now we're gonna. You only need that for about a minute or so, and then we're gonna add the celery, and because you're also wanting to put the celery and the carrots, but I like the onions to go a little bit first. Because they're going to wind up, it's just better to get them started, because they take a little longer to really develop. Carrots take a long time too, but they're fine this way. So we're just going to cook this for about 2 minutes. Once this is actually cooked and ready, so as soon as the alarm goes off on the stove, we're going to switch back to the bread, and we're going to put the bread in the Dutch oven. And that one's going to be a little tricky, because I'm going to pull out this because we're going to need it. Of course, I have to make things fall. So it's a little tricky to get it in. It's a little tricky to get it into the pot, so I have this for the bread. But as soon as the bread is done, that means that we've cooked this long enough. And I usually just do it by scent and by look. I'm just kind of getting them started. We're not cooking them all the way, because the soup will continue to cook them. We're just kind of starting that process, getting some of those flavors to come out of their shell. All right, just sent TikTok universe. I don't know what that is. Jiren sent, Megan sent TikTok Universe to Sarah. I don't know who Sarah is. I think these are for other lives. League D5, top 95. Okay, so I do have a live goal of 20 ice creams. I don't know if that's a reasonable goal, but okay, let's hope. Thank you guys for all the hearts too. I really appreciate it. I see I've got quite a few hearts. I really love that. So we're just making the chicken gnocchi soup, and we're just getting this part ready. This is really very simple to make. It's just building it. And you can do this in a weeknight. If you're starting from, you know, the cutting up of the vegetables, you're about an hour from start to finish. And it's one that I make all the time. I was making it all the time until I started switching to something else. I do that. I go into batches where I'll make something over and over again because I love it, and then I'll stop. So, okay. So I can smell it now. I can smell the celery, and the carrots are smelling lovely. The onions are like really nice and starting to get translucent. They're not fully cooked, right? I don't want them brown. I'm not trying to caramelize them, but I'm just trying to soften these veggies so that when we get the next step, they're ready to release the flavor into the soup. Because this is a quick soup, we're not going to have it go for like all day. We're really just going to be using some, you know, simple methods to make this soup be ready to eat. So I think let me see what the timing is. Yes, I was right. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off for the next step, and we'll do the next step. And I'm going to move this back over to here, and we're going to just put this aside for now. Okay, so we have our bread here, and we have our parchment, and then we have the very, very hot Dutch oven that's going to be coming out soon. I'm going to move all this stuff away so I actually have enough room. So what we're going to do, I crinkle this first, okay? And I'm going to turn off this timer real quick. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to get it prepped. So when that Dutch oven comes out, we just go. So I'm going to put this down. This is a nice, it's called a bread sling, and you can, I don't think I have it on here listed on this live, but they're easy to find. You can go into my showcase, I might have one there or a kit with it. So this is the bread that we just did, and I'm going to just pull it out. I'm just going to lay it on here, try to get it on there, you know, onto the center, and then I'm going to do some scoring. And so I am not great with scoring, so I'm just going to do a little circle, a little square, a little circle, just do some, I'm just going to have fun with it. So if you want a deeper one cut, you just go twice. Don't try to go too deep. If you are doing the bread and you want to have really pretty scoring, it's always good to put it in a banneton the night before and shape it before you put it in the fridge, and then that way you can, it makes the scoring easier. This has been sitting out for 30 minutes now, which means scoring is a lot harder to do. So I'm going to pull the Dutch oven out of the oven, and you can't see me, but that's okay. All right. Okay, so here we go. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll pull it aside a little bit. Okay, so this thing is piping hot, and the oven is set to 450 degrees, and we are just going to, this is where these slings come in handy when you're putting it in a hot Dutch oven. So that way you can easily handle it, and notice I didn't get close to the thing. So this is now going to go in for 25 minutes covered, and then at 25 minutes we're going to remove the lid and bake it for another 20 to 30 minutes depending upon how fast it bakes. And that will be based off of, we want it to get to 205 degrees. That's the goal. So I'm putting it back in the oven and setting the timer, and then we'll go back to the soup. All right. Okay, so that's set to 25 minutes, and back to the soup. All right. Whew, there we go. All right, so how's that looking? Okay. Ooh, that's hot. All right, so let's do this. Can you guys see? Yep, you guys can see. Okay, so once we add the carrots, we're going to add okay, so the next thing is to get the boiling water out of the microwave. If you have a pot, that will work too. I think you can see, yes, you should be able to see this. Oh, actually, I'll do this. Put it over here so you can see it a little bit better. So this is just really simple. I essentially am using better than bouillon instead of chicken broth. And the reason is, one, it's easy, and two, it's just a deeper, richer flavor than a standard chicken broth. Sometimes I'll use chicken broth and just use a little bit of this. It is salty, so just be cautious. So the amount of 3 tablespoons, so it's going to be 1. And not, you know, when I say tablespoons, I don't mean like like, what's the word? I don't want it to be like super, it's more like a quarter of a cup. Close to it, I should just say a quarter of a cup, and then you'd be better. I'm going to get so now I'm just going to kind of mix this in. And I got that fine. I'm going to just get a little whisk and whisk it together. So, whisk it up. All right. Like I said, I didn't really do a lot of preparations. I just kind of got some of the ingredients out, and I was hoping I got it all out. So this is, we're just kind of getting it, making a chicken broth, but it's going to be a little richer than the canned or container chicken broth, and it just has a little more richness to it. Okay, so now add the salt to the prepared broth. Okay. So this is the part where we're just going to put everything together. So I'm going to bring back this to over here. Where are we going? I'm going to put it back here. All right, there we go. I'm going to actually put it to the back of the stove so you can see a little better. The light is better back there. Is the light better back there? How is that? All right, that's probably better. You can probably see a little bit better from there. Okay, I'm gonna turn this back, the back one back on. Okay, and what we're gonna do now is we're going to start building the soup. So we're gonna add this chicken broth. I'm gonna let it kind of heat back up. It should be pretty hot. Yeah, you can hear it. It's pretty hot. Okay, I'm gonna add this to broth. There's some of it didn't get dissolved, but it will dissolve. I just wanted mostly to be dissolved, so that way it's not, I'm not trying to work it in the soup. And we're going to, I'm just going to rinse off this to get the flavor, all that flavor off of there. Okay, and then we're going to add the seasonings. And so the seasonings we have is we're going to do some black pepper. And I am going to just wing it with the black pepper. I go a little heavier on the black pepper. Salt, I'm not going to put much more than just a little bit of salt because it's really already salty. And then we're going to do some, I'm going to be kind of generous with the Italian seasoning. And yeah, I think that's it. For the soup portion of it. And then we are gonna add cream and milk to this at some point, but we're gonna be making a roux for that. And then I think we need to put the chicken in as well. And there we go. Okay, we're gonna add the chicken. And we're gonna bring it to a boil, and then we're gonna simmer it while we make the roux. And the roux is kind of that rich creaminess that you're gonna make. It's butter and flour, and then you add your milk and cream. And this I use both milk and cream. You can use half and half if you choose. I tend to just keep milk and cream and use it as I feel like it. So there we go. Let's get this boiling, and then we'll make the roux. And so this is going to boil for about 30 minutes, about 20 minutes, about 10 minutes. So it says for 10 minutes. So you can cook it a little longer if you like, but again, we sauteed the vegetables, so they would be a little bit better. The chicken's already cooked, so all you're trying to do is get the seasonings together and kind of bring it all together. And that's what we're doing now, just getting it all together. And this is just the Costco rotisserie chicken, and I just using the breast meat. You can use whatever part of the chicken you like. You can make your own chicken, use leftover chicken. Just don't do anything, you know, fried chicken's probably I wouldn't do, but any baked or boiled chicken will be fine in this. It's a pretty, the soup is really nice and simple to make. And it's very rich and heavy. It is a full meal. It's more like a pasta dish than it is a soup. That's why whenever I go to Olive Garden, that's what I get. I have this as my soup, and I always bring my pasta home because I want to just have all the soups. And my husband likes the others. He likes some soups and I like others. We never like the same ones. All right. Okay, so I'm just looking to see when to, oh, I'm supposed to put the gnocchi in now as well. So I'm just bringing that up to a boil, and then I'll put the gnocchi in. And again, I'm just using, it says 24 ounces, I only have a 17 ounce container. I do have another 17 ounce, but I don't want to put that much gnocchi in there, that's just too much. And I'm just going to put this directly in the soup, and that flour that's around it will also help thicken the soup as well. So it's going to be a nice thick soup. Again, it's a very hearty, so there doesn't look like there's a lot of broth. We are adding milk and cream, and so it's going to be very hearty. You're going to feel like it's more like a pasta dish than anything else. We're just bringing it up to a boil, and then we're going to let that go. And so then I'm going to start, I'm going to get a pan to do the roux. And this I'm going to start this one from cold. And, all right, so it's almost boiling. Once it's boiling, I'm going to cover it and simmer it. And essentially the time it takes to get the roux together, you know, you can cook this a little longer. I can pretty much wait until the gnocchi's cooked and it's softened. And it doesn't take that long. It's going to be done well before the roux, you know, chicken gnocchi will be, the gnocchi will be ready well before. So I'm going to cover this up. I'm going to reduce the temperature. All right, we're going to reduce the temperature, and now we're going to make the roux. All right, so now, can you see that? No, not very well. All right, so there we go. Okay, so the roux is, for this one, is going to be 3 tablespoons of flour and 3 tablespoons of butter. And so I'm just going to dump it in, start to melt it, and then we're going to add the flour. Once it's melted, then we'll add the flour. And then once the flour's in there, you have to cook it for at least a minute. If you cook it for less, that's when you get that gumminess in the sauces. So the flour does need to cook. You can cook it longer, and it'll darken in color, and that will make it a little bit richer of a flavor, and it starts to get a little nutty. I'm saying the word nutty. It really isn't nutty, but it's just this different flavor as you cook the flour down. So I'm gonna let this melt up, and this is in real time. We're not fast forwarding anything. So, but you can see it's pretty much, the soup is almost ready. We're already at the point where we are. I'm gonna add some parsley. I should have added parsley to the soup too. Parsley. Adding some parsley. You should add fresh parsley, but I don't have fresh parsley. And my fresh basil, you could add fresh basil as well. But I don't have any of that right now. So we're going with what I have. This is one of those dishes that I will make adjustments for. All right, so it's almost melted. And I'm gonna get the flour over here. And so this is just all-purpose flour. Don't need anything special. And I'm just using salted butter. You can use unsalted if you choose. Only reason I'm using unsalted is because that's what I have. And it needs to have salt in the soup, so you just put less when you use unsalted. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, it's a little bit heavier. 3. Okay. And so this is going to now just cook down. And again, we want the flour to cook. You don't want to just throw it in like this and leave it, because then that's why you might be getting a weird texture in your soups. That flour has to actually cook through before it can not be gummy in your soups or sauces. So, and like I said, you can cook this longer and longer. If you're making a gumbo, they make it a dark roux, and they just will cook it and cook it down until it is really, really dark. This soup is a light white soup, so I'm just cooking it long enough for it to start to, let me turn it down a little bit. Turn it down. Down a little bit. Okay. So, anyways, let me see if there's any questions. Don't see any questions in the chat. If you guys have questions, let me know. But if you just like enjoying watching somebody cook, I'm here for you. I got you. I got you. So, okay, so, you know, it's been over a minute, but I'm going to keep cooking it down a little bit. I want to kind of make it a little bit more rich. And then we're going to add the milk and the cream. And it's 1.5 cups of milk and 1 cup of cream. Again, you can just use 2.5 cups of half and half if you choose. You don't have to add the cream if you don't want to. And I don't have a good whisk right now, so we're going to use this. Okay, so there we go. So now we're going to add, that's looking really nice. We're going to add some milk and slowly add the milk. And I get it in. And then once I do that first initial one, then I'll go through and dump it in. And I'm going to use the whisk in here to whisk it up. And this is what's going to give that, you notice there's still, look at how much liquid is in here. If I did added more broth into that, it would be a really liquidy soup. And this is supposed to be more of a hearty soup. We'll put it up to more of a low medium and whisk it until it starts to bubble. And it should thicken up as it cooks, because we got that flour, we got that butter, and now we're just kind of cooking it. And this part takes a little bit of time, and it's fine. Let's open up the soup just so we can see what the soup looks like. So it's looking good. Gnocchi looks cooked. Everything looks good. All right. Now I'm going to taste it right now to see if I need to add any salt, or if it's too salty, add some water to cut it. But if it can still be a little salty in this one. So yeah, it's slightly salty, but as soon as I add, the milk and cream, it'll be perfect. It's just a little salty, but that's from Better Than Bouillon, and I did add salt. You can hold back on the salt, and again, if you want to reduce your salt intake, you can not do the Better Than Bouillon. You want to do just the low sodium chicken broth. You can do that, but you're going to need to add something else into the soup to kind of give you that punch of flavor. Maybe you'd have to change it up a little bit, which is fine. Do it. I like that. Yeah. Anyways, so this is the Olive Garden copycat recipe, and it is one that is, I've been on live. Let me see if I can see how long I've been on live for. I've been on live for 45 minutes, and so this part of it has probably only been 35 minutes so far, and we're close to being done. We're just getting this ready for getting this to be boiling, and essentially you want this to boil and thicken. You don't want to do it in the soup. The purpose of the roux is to kind of give you that rich base that's going to thicken the soup. But if you try dumping it in now, it won't ever thicken up, because it's going to be diluted by the soup. So, takes a while, doesn't it? Patience. I don't have patience. A lot of times I'll just layer it up higher, but that's not good for the milk or the cream. So, see, let it come to boil. Boil. Toil's in trouble. That's what I always feel like. I'm some sort of witch in the kitchen making up some potions. So, Go live, collect, bling. I don't, okay. There's a lot of, I don't know if you guys have ever done lives, but there's a lot of messages that pop up on the screen from TikTok that really confuse me, and I wish they didn't do that during the live because I'm not sure what they're saying or what, like, I have to focus on it. So the current message says, go live, collect swag. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, TikTok live on air. I don't know what that means. So I think that this is, I'm learning about all the different ways that the TikTok lives work. I'm using it as a means of making sourdough, making cooking, and I will cut these cooking videos up and put them on TikTok as well as on my website, Dish Ditty, D-I-T-T-Y. And this, if you go to my website, I just pinned it to the top of the page. So when you first go to the home page, this recipe is on there. So if you go to Dish Ditty, D-I-T-T-Y, you will find this as one of the first links on the recent recipes. There's a couple pinned things in the top of the page, but once you get to the recent recipes, this will be the first one there. It's not recent. It's at least I think I made it in. I created this one in February 23 is what it looks like. So it's been a couple years when I created this recipe, but I changed it so you could see it faster. All right, it's coming up. It's coming. Come on. Boil, boil. Isn't this great? My little. It's supposed to be on a you know, one of those little things, but I don't know where all my whisks are. I don't remember there being very many in my dishwasher either. So I've been losing things in my kitchen. I have a gremlin. Do you guys have gremlins in your kitchen? I have gremlins. Okay, I'll let this go for a minute. Let it kind of try to boil. It's getting close. And if for some reason if it doesn't thicken enough, we'll put it in the soup, and then we can always make another little bit of roux. It's essentially equal parts fat and to flour, and so I use butter. It's a traditional way of doing it, and then you can just add just a little bit of milk. You don't need to add a lot, just to kind of get it primed. Or you can even just take the soup in here, and I'll show you how to do that. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay, this is getting there. Starting to thicken. I'm going to show you. Can't really tell from here, but it's starting to thicken up. It's not thick yet, but it's starting to thicken. And like I said, this is the most time-consuming part of it. Is just being patient about the roux and just kind of being patient. It's getting there. The sides are starting to get a little bubbly, and it's starting to thicken up. And I just want it to come on. This is the part about cooking that is frustrating to me when you're waiting for something to boil or waiting for something to reach temperature. So I'm going to check the temperature, the time on the stove. Okay, we have 6 minutes. So this will be done before then, and then I'll just show you. We're going to take the lid off of the Dutch oven where the bread is being baked. So we're doing two things. We're baking some of the sourdough bread that we made last night on the live. We made it yesterday. I don't remember what I did. I think it was last night. And we made it, and then I put it in the fridge, so it's ready to go. And so then it gets more sour. Sourdough gets more sour if you leave it in the fridge, and it helps you digest it better as well. So it's starting to thicken. I don't know if you can see here. I don't know if you can see this on the side. It's starting to bubble. Okay, it's starting to bubble, and it's starting to create a skim, and so it's starting to get thick. You can see that it's starting to thicken up. I don't know if you can see that. So and even on the bottom, it's got a little bit of. So now it's at the point where we're gonna cook it for 1 minute. And Alexa, set timer for 1 minute. And essentially,
starting now.
Essentially, now that it's boiling, we're just gonna cook for 1 minute, and kind of keep whisking it. And essentially we want that flour to really get cooked into the milk. I'm going to turn it down. I don't want it to be boiling. I just want it to be, I don't want to roll and boil. I just want it to be low. Bring it down again. That's still a little bit too high. Okay, so we're just going to cook this for 1 minute. And then once that's done, we're going to pour it into the soup. And the soup is pretty much at that point done. We're going to add the spinach. Spinach comes in last because spinach will wilt too much. So I add that at the last minute. You don't even need to cook it, just it's hot soup is enough. And we're just going to add that at the end. So now that's, so I don't know if you can see how much thicker this is now. It's much thicker. It's not going to, we're not making a sturdy amount, okay? That is it. Alexa, stop. I'm going to turn this guy off and open this one up. And we're going to, there we go. Okay. And I'm going to just slowly, oh, I need to get something to put my hand on. Pot holder would be nice. All right. So we're going to pour it in here and just slowly stir. And there are ways that you can do this that is more traditional, it will be richer, but you can see now, it didn't look like we had a lot of liquid in there now, but if I had put more broth or water in there, it would have been, it would be really, really watery, and it would just, you know, this is meant to be a very rich, thick soup. Okay, so now we're just going to cook that for about a minute, and at that point, we're pretty much done. We're just going to put it in the, kind of close it up once we kind of get it to a nice boil it for a minute, and then I'm going to turn it to a really low simmer. I have an XLO setting on my stove, and I use that so it doesn't burn the cream sauces. We're not going to leave it on the stove for very long. It's pretty much ready to go. I'll do a quick taste. And a spoon. And since it was a little salty before, but now we added the cream. Yeah, that's really good. That's very good. It isn't salty at all now. It's got that nice kind of flavor of salt, but without it being like, oh, I'm going to have a heart attack from too much salt. Again, this is not a healthy soup. We're looking at a copycat for the chicken gnocchi at Olive Garden. You can add more gnocchi if you want. The original recipe I had was 24 ounces. I only had a 17-ounce container, and I kind of didn't want to put too much gnocchi in there because I wanted it to be more vegetables. You can lighten up the vegetables. You can do whatever you want with this. This is just a base. When I provide recipes, it's really just a base. So this is pretty much ready to go. I am going to turn down to an XLO, and I'm going to cover it, and it is done. Okay, so we've got a lot of mess that I'm making over here, so we're going to go over to the oven where we have, I'm going to actually bring this down so you guys can see a little bit better. All right, so there we go. Now we have, can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Well, we'll see in a second. It is just bouncing, isn't it? Sorry about that. I think it's because somebody's walking. Somebody's walking. I'm going to pull it down one more, and so you can see it kind of straight in. And it's bouncing still, but I will get that fixed. All right, so it is now 43 seconds. I'm going to call that good. I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes, and I'll test the temperature in 20 minutes. All right. Okie doke. So you can see how much that's changed. And now we're going to take it off. The reason for covering the bread, I'm going to actually put this down really fast. Hold on, it's really hot. I did 25 seconds, not 25 minutes. Darn it. Okay. I said 20 minutes, but now it's at 25. Okay. So I'm going to bring this back up, and we're going to talk for a second about the bread and see. Get that up. And up. All right. Okay, so sorry about that. Sorry about that. It's just me here in the kitchen, so you're gonna get what it is. This is me just being raw. Ooh! And putting it on an unstable surface. All right, so for the bread, the reason why you put the lid on is to get a steam. You want it to create a steam for the first half of the bake. And that's kind of a crucial element for the sourdough bread. If you don't have a Dutch oven, you can use 2 loaf pans, put them on top of each other. Or if you don't even want to do that, you can put it on a cookie sheet, but you have to put some steam, you have to put some boiling water at the bottom of the oven. So usually you put a pan in the oven, heat it up with the Dutch oven, and then pour boiling water into it. But you have to be able to take that out at 25 minutes. Because otherwise you're going to steam the whole time, and that's not also desirable as well. So that's just a little tidbit on the oven. So we're going to now move a couple things aside, and we're going to plate up some soup so we can see what that looks like, because it is ready to go. This is, again, because we're using things that are already ready to go. You know, the chicken is cooked. The better than bouillon gives you that rich soup flavor. I'm going to put it in a bowl. Put it in my, these bowls are my favorite for this soup. I am down here getting soup bowls. And I just broke a bowl, but that's okay. Okay. They just fell out. I only broke one. It's okay. And it broke pretty cleanly, so. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so we're gonna put this up so you can see what the soup looks like. Oops, live and nope, continue. I have to continue. Okay, I had to continue. All right, so it's trying to shut the live off for me. So we're gonna plate these up into bowls so you can see what it looks like in a white bowl, and I'm gonna just give you this bowl for now. I'm just going to go over there, get it from here, and I'm not going to move you around again. I'll turn off the oven now. It's been simmering for about 5 minutes, which is more than enough. And there you go. Okay. Let's get that so you can see. Close down a little bit. All right, there you go. That is the soup. I'm going to make another bowl, and one's for me, one's for my husband. And the bread will not be ready for us for dinner tonight. This is actually, I'm making it for a friend who's, so there we go. So there's the chicken gnocchi soup. I'm going to pull it off of here now. Okay, so this is the chicken gnocchi soup. I don't know if you guys can see it. Steam's probably making it harder to see, but hopefully you can see that it is a super easy soup to make. We are exactly an hour into the live, and I didn't start this at least 10 minutes into the live. So it took 50 minutes from start to finish, including chopping up all the vegetables and everything. I'm gonna actually, oh, spinach, shoot, yes. Thank you, Diona. Okay, you are so right, spinach. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a trick. I'm gonna put this back on here. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna show you, the spinach does not actually need to cook. And I do this a lot with the spinach, is I will put it in the bowl. And I'm just gonna put a couple pieces in here. I'm gonna throw some into the other one. And it will wilt just from the heat of the soup. So I'm just going to throw it in, and this is what I'd be doing in the pot, and I'll do that in the pot in a minute, and just kind of make sure it gets all added in. I'm going to do the same thing on this one, and you can put as little or as much as you want, and that is it. Thank you for letting me know. Hey, spinach. Okay, I love you, Diona Rose. That is so nice of you. Thank you. Okay, so it sits for a minute and it just softens up. And it's already getting soft. And as long as it's piping hot, if it's not piping hot, it won't. It's already wilted. Look, it's already almost wilted. So you don't really want to have it cook for very long. So I usually turn it off and then put the spinach in. So there you go. Thank you. So this one has more spinach. I'm going to add a little bit more into this one because I like the spinach in it. Yep. So you can see this one I'm going to keep in. So this is the one that is ready to go, and I'll show you with a spoon. All right, so you can see you've got the gnocchi in here. It's nicely cooked, ready to go. Got the spinach is fresh, and this is just a nice, hearty, warm soup. I'm gonna go bring this bowl to my husband, and then I'm going to come back so he can have some soup. All right. I'm going to put some of the spinach in the soup. You can see like this. Again, you can see the spinach is already almost fully softened. I put some in earlier and some in later, but it's pretty well softened. My husband's sick, so if you hear him coughing, that's why. Okay, we're going to put this back to this, and I'm just going to add the spinach in and stir it up. And the bread has another probably 10-15 minutes. And I'm just, again, I just wing it. How much do I want? I don't know. How much do I want? Spinach is one of those things that just, you put what you think is a lot in there, and it just cooks down so fast and turns into nothing. So it drives me crazy when I think I've got a lot of spinach in, and then I'm like, there's no spinach. So there you go. All right, so that's it. That's less than an hour. You can do it if you have everything all chopped up. It's 30 minutes from in cook time. It's most of the time I spent cutting up the onions and the celery. You can buy those at the store as well, cut up, but that's a lot of excess money. So you can see I barely just put it in there, and the stove's not even on, and the spinach is almost fully cooked. All right, and that is it. All right, so my kitchen is a complete disaster now because I just went like a whirlwind like I tend to do. So this is my dinner tonight. Not with a fork though. I did that just so I could get I don't like the spinach to be clumped up, so I use the fork to kind of mix it around. So my last big spoon, because every time I taste test, I have to get a new spoon. So cheers. This is so good. I don't know if you guys get this from Olive Garden, but oh my god, so good. So super easy. This is one of those you just want to make it. If you have cooked chicken, and I always have onions and celery and carrots on hand. So cooked chicken, then gnocchi. You can do something other than gnocchi if you want, but if you do something other than gnocchi, you might want to boil it separately. I don't know. I mean, this is really designed for the gnocchi, but and you can leave the gnocchi out, by the way. You don't have to have it. The gnocchi just adds that, makes it a hearty meal. If you just want it to be like a creamy vegetable chicken soup, you can go without the gnocchi. So, and all of the celery and the carrots together with the spices, it just melts so nicely, and it smells so fantastic. Oh my god, that's so good. Okay, so we are going to talk. We're done with that. Okay, so the only thing left is to pull the bread out of the oven, and it has 15 more minutes. So what I'm thinking about doing is cleaning my pot that I messed up with earlier today. And I'm going to ask my husband, because he's the one that always does it, but I don't think he wants to do it, but I'm going to do it myself. So I cooked some in this pan earlier today. This is one of my all-clads, and it's stuck on. So what we do And it's coming off, but the way to make it come off, I got as much of it off as I really can. I'm gonna use what's called Barkeeper's Friend. Mickey, how do I do the Barkeeper's Friend?
You need gloves.
I have the gloves.
You just sprinkle it.
Sprinkle it.
Make it a little damp, but just coat it.
Okay.
And let it sit.
Coat it and let it sit for a minute?
Yeah, a few minutes.
A few minutes or?
A few minutes.
Okay, so we're gonna, so the key here is wear the gloves, especially I do have a cut on my finger. I don't want that to get up. So this is Barkeeper's Friend. I do not know if this is on the TikTok shop, but we're gonna not breathe it in because I think I just breathed it in. Okay, it's damp. We're gonna let it sit like this, and then you just scrub it, right? Alexa set timer for 2 minutes. And so this is the one that you're using is the one that's not in the dish rack, right? The one that's in the
2 minutes starting now.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the one we're using. So I'm just gonna get it wet. All right, so this is something that we found works really well. A bit damp. A little bit damp. I'm sure I'm doing this wrong. He does it all the time. I don't do it. He makes sure that these pans are in really nice shape. Mind, I'm not great with keeping things in good shape. So the bread is still in the oven. It has, let's see how long it has. It has 12 minutes, but I'm going to check it in 7. So, and we're just waiting for this now. We've got 1 minute and 10 seconds. So 2 minutes, right, Mickey?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 minutes is good? Okay. I'll try to make it go onto its... Of course, now it's not like sitting on it. That's the bad areas. I probably put too much water on it. I am impatient. 37 seconds. I think I'm way too impatient for this. I'm way too impatient. But I made some, I got these chicken patties from Costco. Made some grilled onions, some sauteed, caramelized onions, and just put it on the sourdough, made a nice little sandwich out of it. And I messed up the pan in the process. But it's not messed up for good. Okay, 10, 9, okay, I'm calling it. So now we're gonna just scrub. Look, it's coming off. I don't know if you can see it. Alexa, stop. I was scrubbing before and scrubbing, and it wasn't coming off. And now, look at this, it's coming off really nicely. The next spot's gonna be a little bit harder, but getting all the edges. And I did do some baking soda and water and brought it to a boil and then let it sit. And it got all the crusties, like the big chunks off, but it doesn't get the staining off. So, and I'm not even really rubbing very hard. And how long has that been? Like maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute? Coat this with it so that if I need to do another set, I have it. There's a couple spots I need to do, but look at how fast that was. I had heard about Barkeeper's Friend, but didn't really know much about it until we got these pans and found that it is your friend. So this is almost done, and then we're going to test. As soon as I'm done with this, it'll be right about the time when I need to check the temperature of the bread. We're looking for 205 degrees in the bread. That's the temperature we're looking for. So I think I got it all out. That is incredible. I should see if they have this on TikTok Shop and pin it. I'm sure that they do. Probably is one of the non-commissioned items, which means I can't pin it. I want them to be able to let us pin non-commissioned items because I don't always need to make a commission. I just want to show you guys the things that I like to use. Okay, I have one spot I didn't get out very well. Try. One spot. Two spots. Okay, I'll come back to those. I don't know if you can see how nice this pan looks now. Can you see how bad that was? All right. So there's a couple spots I missed here, here, and here, but the rest of it looks pretty amazing. I'm gonna dry it and then I'll come back to it later to get that, to get those pieces done. Okay, now we're gonna go back over to the oven, and you're gonna find that if you're ever on live with me, I rarely do just one thing. I will always be doing multiple things. So this is going to be, I just need to take these gloves off. And it looks like I need more here. Right. So the gloves are off, and I need to find my temperature gauge. I need to find, sorry. Am I here? Am I here? Am I here? There we go. All I'm looking for right now is my thermometer, which should be in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. And so we're at right around 20 minutes. So I'm going to take the temperature. And the reason I do that is because I find that mine tends to be done at around 20. And look at how pretty that looks. So it's not done. So you can see it's 158, 160. So I'm going to do another 5 minutes and test it. And so timer, it's going to do 5 minutes. Okay. So, all right, let's get back to this. All right, so we wasted some time with cleaning a pan, and I'm making you guys get all dizzy. Sorry about that. So, so today we've made the chicken gnocchi soup that is on a copycat recipe that I made up from Olive Garden, and I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna eat some. And including chopping vegetables and cutting up the chicken was about 50 minutes from start to finish. And this soup is rich, hearty, full of flavor, and doesn't feel like it was only took less than an hour to make. The cooking time is about 30 minutes from start to finish, from the sauteing of the onions, and then you add the celery and carrots in, and then you add the broth with the chicken and bouillon. It's better than bouillon chicken, and then add your seasonings and add the gnocchi, and at the end you add the spinach and the cream and the roux. So this recipe is on my website, Dish Ditty, D-I-T-T-Y, and if you go to the website, it's on the homepage. It's the first recipe in the latest recipes section. So there's you can see some of the popular recipes, which I always find odd, some of the recipes that are popular. Let me see what the recipes today are. Popular recipes today are. That trips me out. Oh yeah. So there's my top recipes right now is, it's gonna sound gross, is Chinese. I'm gonna show you my website so you can see it. Is so you can see. There you go. You can see. Chinese stewed pig's feet. This is a traditional Chinese dish that is usually you're only going to find in homes. Never find it in restaurants. Sometimes you'll find it at Ranch 99, but most of the time you don't. And this is Grandma's banana split dessert recipe. This thing is incredible. It's my grandmother's recipe. So amazing. A Snow White chicken is another stir fry, and then the angel hair vegetable. And again, another stir fry. And then the recipes that are kind of the new ones. This is the recipe you'll find, is the Olive Garden recipe. I made this one, and it's on, if you go to my page on TikTok, you'll see how to make this as well. But if you want the actual recipe with the ingredients, is there. This one I've also made on recently. And then the Cheddar Bay biscuits. Oh, these are so easy to make with your sourdough discard. So just as the website, you can come and check out other recipes that I have, and kind of, you know, my son actually designed this recipe. So you can kind of go through, you want to look at for vegan recipes or healthy. This is for kind of like the specialty sections, kind of for healthiness, which I'm not always. So you can go here, you can come up here and check any of the other things, go to the appetizers. I've got well over 700 recipes that are my recipes or recipes from one of my family members. So you can kind of, some of the pictures are not great, some are better. But anyways, so this is the website. And let's see how much time do we have left. I've been chatting. Okay, we're almost at a minute. So we're almost done with the bread. And when the bread comes out, I need a space, so I'm going to move stuff around because I have made a big mess again. I have to make messes. That is what I do. So we're going to put this over here. We're going to move some things around. I get to throw away my beautiful bowl that I broke. Isn't that nice? I break things. That's what I do. That is what I do. Right, I'm going to put this away. And I'm not going to make the soup tonight. I'm kind of done. So I'm going to put these I can either put these in the fridge to make the soup, or I can put it in a bag and throw it in the freezer for making later, which is what I think I might do. But I'll check with my husband, see if he wants me to make some broth and make some other soup. So there we go. Got that. Pull this aside. Get everything moved away. Because that pot comes in and it is hot, piping hot. So this one, make some space. So the bread is ready for me to test again. It should be close to being done. And yep, there we go. That's my signal to test it again. And I need all right, so we're gonna go like this. And we're we gotta move this down so you guys can see it. Lost my phone. Phone just dropped. Okay, we're gonna do it with my hand. I'm gonna flip the camera actually. Flip camera. Okay, this will be easier for me. Camera off. Sorry about that. I'm going to go like this. All right, so we're going to just go like this, and we're going to test again the temperature. So I'm going to switch hands because you won't be able to see the temperature gauge. So I'm going to put it in the middle. Why is it? There's no way this is 77 degrees Fahrenheit. It wasn't set to hold. Okay, here we go. It is pretty close. Let's see if it goes all the way up and over. Okay, it needs just another 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes. It's almost there. It should be 205. I find that if it's less than 205, it is no good. So I'm gonna set the timer for 1:30. So that's 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold this since I'm making a big mess with doing the back and forth on that thing. So anyway, so I hope you guys are enjoying the live. We are almost at a close. We're going to get the bread out of the oven, and I think that's all we're doing for tonight. This recipe is on dishdiddy.com if you're interested. It is super easy, super simple, fairly inexpensive to make. I use Dollar Tree gnocchi, so $1.25 for the gnocchi. Costco chicken, only use less than half of a Costco chicken, so that's what, $2.50. Got some celery, onions, and carrots. You have some spinach. You have butter, flour, cream, and milk, but you can use half and half if you don't want to do cream and milk. And then we have some Italian seasonings, some parsley, and some black pepper, and just a little bit of salt. I find it with, and it needs a little bit of salt, but I didn't put much. I probably put maybe like half a teaspoon. But because of this, it's a soup, and I just put the gnocchi in like that. Look at how beautiful these gnocchis look. It is Dollar Tree. These are Dollar Tree. Look at this. They're beautiful. And I don't know. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Bum, bum, bum. All right. I'm gonna open it up. I'm doing this with my hand, so I don't have it on. Okay, we're gonna test it out. Okay, it should be pretty close now. Yeah, this one seems slower. This one isn't, maybe I put it in a different spot and now I need to rotate it. Okay, I'm gonna rotate it, we're gonna go another 2 minutes. All right. I'm gonna rotate it so that, because it looks like it wasn't getting cooked evenly. The other one I did said closer to 200 and now it's at 194. So we're gonna just do another minute. We're just do another minute. So that is what we're doing for today. I'm gonna get a, I'm going to come over here. Oh, I got this, I don't have this, I can pin this if somebody wants to know. Look at this toaster, how cool is this? It has just one long slot. You can get one with 2 long slots, but I only need one. So you can do your long sourdough slices. So when you have the sourdough in like long slices like this one here, you can cut it and it'll fit all the way in. I'm always putting half in, flipping it, and putting the other half in. It drives me crazy. So if anybody's interested, let me know and I'll pin this real quick. I don't have it currently on my showcase. But I'm gonna need to go. Dun, dun, dun. I'm gonna find my, okay. All right, so what is oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking for an internal temperature of 205. Love Barkeeper's Friend. Oh yes, Renee, I love Barkeeper's Friend. I did not realize how nice that was. I've heard about it and I, just never really got it, so. But 205 is what we're looking for. And I'm going to assume that the next time I check it, it's 205. So we're going to bring the tripod back up here. Maybe I'll just do this one. We're going to flip the camera again. So I can see what I'm doing. All right, we're going to do this here. All right, we're going to turn on a light. Got a light going. Turn it up so you can see. Pull this down a little bit. Okay. So it's going to come out of the oven, I'm sure, in a second. And you can eat it warm, of course, but you want to let it cool for at least 20 minutes before you start cutting into it. It is harder to cut into when it's hot. And it'll kind of change the texture as well. So I am pretty sure it's got to be close. Dun, 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 dun. Is it on? It's really weird. It's like, oh, I did 1 hour. Okay, I set it for an hour and 30 seconds, an hour and 30 minutes instead of an hour, and instead of 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, let's try it one more time, and it looks like it is good now. Yep, we are at 204, which I'm okay with. 205 is the temperature I'm looking for, but 204 is pretty close. Anything over 200 is good. So there we go. And then we have the sled, which I should probably pin, but I haven't. I don't think I've even found one. It allows you to pull it up and out without having to burn your hands. It just makes it a lot nicer to deal with. And I'm waiting for my new cookie sheets. And this product should be pinned, I believe. The Dutch oven should be pinned. Let me see if it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's pinned. So this Dutch oven is beautiful. I had a Loge and I don't know what I did to it, but the inside just got so bad. I think the enamel just came off. So anyways, let's do a little, I can't cut into this, so I can't show it to you unless you guys want to wait around for another, what, ridiculous amount of time. All right, so there we go. This was made from, I'm actually going to pin that. This is, if you wanted to make your own sourdough and you're afraid of the process of getting your starter ready, I bought with my own money, and it's only a couple dollars, literally only a couple dollars, the dehydrated sourdough starter from, I can't remember, Kenny's house, I think, or something like that. Anyways, I just pinned it, and I had made the sourdough starter 5 days ago. So I rehydrated it, and you essentially feed it for 4 days. And so yesterday was day 4, and I made 2 loaves. One with it unfed, and I did more of a unloaf, which is an unfed starter, and kind of did that way. And then this one I fed it in the morning, and I made the bread in the afternoon, and this is what it looks like. So you can see the scoring that I did. It's not beautiful, but I think it's fine. Nobody really cares. They're going to cut into it and make sandwiches out of it, or avocado toast tomorrow morning. I think was what this is geared for, is the avocado toast in the morning. So you can see the ear. That's where I kind of did like that one long score, and a couple scores. And then it will break where it wants to anyways. So it decides where it wants to break. But I think that's it. So I'm going to go check to see if there's anybody has anything else. So we made this, and I'm going to post this recipe today. And we made this one, which is a chicken gnocchi soup, which is on Dish Ditty, my website that has an ad. So you can see, where is it? Oh, I'll have to go back to the homepage. And it's right at the top of the homepage right there. So you can click on it and see the recipe. And it's not that hard at all to make. You can see I talk a lot about it, and I do not, I'm trying to move all of my recipes to be at the top without you having to jump to the recipe. I don't do a lot of words, but I will do some. So this, anything that I have, I'll put at the end, but I'm not, I don't really consider this something that I like to do from a, talking standpoint, but I tend to like the recipe portion of it. So I get annoyed when I go to a website and it says jump to recipe, or you have to keep scrolling. So anyways, I think that's it. Let me check to see if there's any questions. So yeah, I answered that question for 205, and I think we're good to go. Thank you guys for everything. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun, and I am excited to eat my bread and have my gnocchi soup. So have a good night. Thank you, guys.